What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about 30 Canada facts that I didn't know. Well, as an American, there's definitely a lot that I don't know about Canada. So today, I thought it would be fun to check out this list of 30 random, interesting facts about Canada. So let's get started. Starting with number one, Canada has the largest moose population in the world. I didn't know that Canada had the largest moose population, but I can't say I'm totally shocked by this. This is a little on the nose, because in America, we associate moose with Canada. It's honestly maybe a stereotype that we have that moose are just everywhere in Canada, all over the place. You have them as pets in your living room. And I know that's kind of an exaggeration, not really true, but I don't know. Now that I've read this, the Canadian moose holds great significance as a symbol of the country and in one of its iconic wildlife species. Canada has the largest population of moose, over 1 million moose. Wow. That's like one moose for every human. I guess you guys have to share the moose if that's the case. Number two, Canada is hockey obsessed. This is. Is this what this list is going to be like? I kind of figured. Is this factual? Is there like data to support this? Canada is hockey obsessed. It doesn't say Canada is like the number one hockey country in terms of fans, although I wouldn't be shocked by that either. Hockey holds a special place in Canadians' hearts, going beyond a game, it's a national obsession. Considered the birthplace of ice hockey. Canada is the birthplace of ice hockey. I didn't know that. Canada has a deep rooted connection with the team activity. Yes, I think I kind of knew this, but maybe not that it was the birthplace of ice hockey. Anyway, number three, the Canadian Rockies showcases a range of habitats. The Canadian Rockies has some of the most awe-inspiring landscapes you'll find anywhere, with soaring peaks, glaciers, lakes, and wildlife. Well, I do think that Canada is severely underrated, especially by Americans, in terms of how beautiful it is and the nature and the natural geography and wonders that there are. I've seen some YouTube videos on this, so I've seen for myself a little bit, but I can speak for Americans at least. We don't discuss Canada as like this majestic getaway, vacation, destination, location with all these incredible sights and magnificent Rockies. And even though maybe that should be like part of our discussion more, it's kind of underrated. Number four, poutine is a must-try dish. I've learned a bit about poutine. I do think it is a must-try dish. Most Americans literally have never even heard the word poutine. I've brought this up with other Americans. But in Canada, it's a popular dish, originated in Quebec. It is French fries topped with cheese curds covered in gravy. I mean, it sounds really weird at first, but once you think about it for a second, and when you look at a picture, does this have bacon on it? Excuse me. I got distracted. Does this have bacon? Oh my goodness. Oh my. When you look at it and you think about it, it's probably amazing. Like, I like gravy, I like French fries, I like cheese. Put them all together. Maybe this should be a thing in America. I really want to try it someday. Number five, the population is highly educated. This one I did know about, actually. Doesn't Canada have the highest number of university and college educated people compared to the total population? Yeah, look at this. 56% of Canadians, 25 to 64, have post-secondary education. Exactly. I have heard of that one. That's insane. That's so impressive. And what a wonderful thing to have the feather in your cap there for your country, that you're like the most educated, or at least highly educated. I don't know if it's the most in the world. I don't know who's beating 56%. Number six, the magnetic hill. Looks like it defies gravity. The magnetic hill. It's in Moncton, New Brunswick. It's the famous magnetic hill. It creates an optical illusion that gives the impression of cars rolling uphill. What? Can I Google this? Hold on. Is there a picture of this? Let me go to images. What? There's a sign that says Magnetic Hill. There's a sign. None of this. It's just the sign. What? No, I didn't know about that. Didn't know about any of that. Magnetic hills. Number seven, Canada is the second largest country in terms of land area. It's 9.98 million square kilometers. Second largest country. Second to Russia, probably? Yeah, Canada is the second largest. I feel like I've heard that before. If you had quizzed me before this, I might not have gotten it. But Canada, I know Canada is freaking massive. Massive. Eight, Canada hosts the world's largest collection of Inuit art. Oh, wow. Winnipeg Art Gallery is the home of the world's largest collection of contemporary Inuit art. Not like old historical art. It's like new Inuit art. That's amazing. Breathtaking sculptures, prints, textiles by indigenous artists. That's awesome. It feels like Canada is doing its part to try to showcase and promote the original inhabitants of Canada, the First Nations, I think you call it. That's awesome. That's awesome because I don't know of this type of thing happening in the United States. So that's awesome. Nine, Canada has made an impressive contribution to Hollywood and music. This is a funny one because I know Canadians make contributions in music and art and acting, and there's actors and musicians and very, very, very famous people that are Canadian. It's just that a lot of Americans don't know that they're Canadian. They just assume they're American. Jim Carrey, Celine Dion, Ryan Reynolds, I knew that, Chris Evans. Most of them have made the United States their home, but they have Canadian roots. They're from Canada. There's so many famous, talented people. Mike Myers as well, I know. Justin Bieber, Drake, so many people, so many Canadians that have infiltrated our American lives, and we don't even know it, and we don't give them that credit. 10. John Cabot accidentally claimed Canada for England. An Italian explorer commissioned by Henry V of England in 1497 embarked on a voyage to Asia. He unexpectedly arrived at modern-day Newfoundland, and Cabot's accidental landing marked England's initial claim to Canada. That was a mouthful. A Englishman discovered he didn't discover it, but he discovered it for England, and then they claimed it. What else is new about the British Empire? 11. Basketball was born in Canada. I think I've heard this one. That's so crazy. Basketball, global sport created by James Naismith, a Canadian. That's crazy because basketball is so popular in America, but it was made in Canada. I think that would blow Americans' minds because we think of basketball as being so American. Like we try to claim it, but it wasn't made here. I don't think most Americans know that. 12. Canada still has a monarchy? Canada maintains a strong historical connection to the United Kingdom. The current UK monarch serves as the monarch of Canada. Really? Like, there's a king of Canada? Like, the king, King Charles. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, American, this stuff doesn't really relate to us. King Charles, King of England, King of the UK, is also the King of Canada? I know there's like the historical British relationship there, but can you say Canada technically has a king? Does it work like that? That's interesting. Canada is the main maple syrup producer. Least surprising thing in the world. This is right up there with the moose. Canada has the most moose. Like, least surprising thing. Canada is responsible for 85% of the world's maple syrup. Or I assume this refers to authentic maple syrup. I did a video trying Canadian maple syrup. It's very different. It's it's real. It's like it says grade A on it, genuine maple syrup. Very different from our whatever syrup product we are bottling here and selling. It's so much better. Canada makes 85% of that stuff. They're real stuff. Wow, that's still a ton. Quebec has North America's sole walled city. Quebec has a walled city. Oh, Quebec City has a rich history, built by French and British in the 17th centuries. They have fortifications that served as a defense. I reacted to Quebec City a long, long time ago. I know it looked very, very historical, almost like a European city or something. Does it have giant walls? Like the entire city is walled? Like fortified? Oh, wow. Look at this. Wow, that's kind of cool. And practical in case of invasion. The Canadian Thanksgiving is an old tradition. I think it's older than American Thanksgiving. Canadian Thanksgiving predates American tradition by 40 years. This would blow every American's mind as well. Origins back to 1578. Yeah, Thanksgiving, it's just like basketball. It's something that Americans have like grabbed and it's like this is ours. This is an American pat tradition. It's like, it's actually started in Canada. Oh man, that's crazy. 16. Leif Erikson was the first European in Canada. I've heard of Leif Erikson, Norse explorer from Iceland, set foot on Canadian soil 1,000 years ago. First European. And it was in Newfoundland. So was that other English guy, John Cabot or whatever. This historic event is considered to be the first time a European reached North America. Wow. The first European in North America set foot, it was in Canada. Wow. 17. Canada is extremely cold. This is supposed to be things that you don't know. This is supposed to be stuff you don't know about Canada. Canada is extremely cold. I'm not even going to read that. Yeah, I've heard. 18. Canada declared independence in 1982? That recently? 40 years ago? Canada was still under British rule for legal reasons. On April 1982, Constitution Day, Queen Elizabeth signed the Constitution Act. This sounds sort of familiar to me. I don't know my Canadian history very well, no matter how much I brush up on it. It was only 40 years ago that it was technically independent? That's unbelievable. 19. Canada has a unique national drink, the Caesar. Canada national beverage, the Caesar. You have a national beverage? Features a unique ingredient, clam juice. Ooh, okay. Intriguing drink is a mixture of vodka, clamato, clam juice, tomato juice, hot sauce, Worcestershire sauce, and lime. Can Canadians drink this? Is this like, are you not a real Canadian till you drink this concoction? Oh my god, clam juice, then there's vodka. It's an alcoholic drink. Then the hot sauce, Worcestershire sauce. What does this do to you? 20. Canada's national sport is lacrosse. I did know this one as well. Very, very little known one in America. This is a fun fact in America. Trivia question. Canada's national sport isn't hockey. It's technically lacrosse, or hockey is the winter sport. Lacrosse is the summer sport? Anyway, lacrosse is a national sport of Canada. Very random to me. I don't think of lacrosse and Canada. Apparently, it's played. 21. The telephone was invented in Canada. Alexander Graham Bell from Scotland is living in Ontario. Really? Because we learn about Alexander Graham Bell and the telephone. I don't ever remember him. Oh, he's not Canadian, but he was in Canada. I think that's what it's saying. Oh, interesting. Okay. 22. Canada has a vast coastline. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Over 200,000 kilometers. Take more than 4.5 years to walk from one end to the other. Yeah, I bet. Oh my. Yeah, Canada is huge. Canada is massive. A lot of Americans don't even really think about that part of the map. When we look at a map, we're just looking at the United States. It's like a fog comes over our brain and our eyes, and we don't look at like Mexico or Canada. Or I know it sounds very pompous, and it is, but a lot of Americans don't necessarily realize how freaking massive Canada is. 23. Canada fought in the Beaver Wars. What is going on? Conflict known as the Beaver Wars, not fought against animals, but rather humans for power and control. Oh, this does sound familiar. I did a video learning about Canadian history. I remember the beaver. Okay, yes, the Beaver Wars. Yeah, how could I forget? It was over beaver fur. Very Canadian. 24. Canada loves immigration. 1971, Canada implemented an open immigration policy. Since then, people from all over the world have chosen Canada as their new home. That's a wonderful thing. That's awesome for Canada. And it's really a fantastic opportunity for the rest of the world. The United States, we've had a long, sort of rocky, weird history with immigration, trying to be fair and open, but not taking it too far, and then people coming illegally and trying to get people here that want to contribute the most and deciding who, and it's really complicated. And yeah, immigration. Let's not dive too deep into that, but on the surface, that's great that Canada has immigration and lets people in, and because Canada does seem like a great opportunity for a lot of people. 25. Santa Claus's address is in Canada. Santa Claus technically resides in Canada, not like the North Pole, not Antarctica, but Canada. I know it's cold there, but every year children from all over the world write down their wishes and send letters to Santa with the postal code ho ho ho. Really? Santa is in Canada? Like legally speaking? 26. Canada's name is from an indigenous language. I know this. Kanata? Yes, Kanata. Jacques Cartier misunderstood and believed that it referred to the whole region, whereas it was a Iroquoian tribe name, Kanata. I remember that much. This is supposed to be 30 Canadian facts that, I didn't know, but I know some things. 27. Canadians love mac and cheese. Do ya? Canadians have a strong affinity for macaroni and cheese. You don't call it that though. What do you call it? Craft dinner. Katie, craft dinner, right? We call it macaroni and cheese. Mac and cheese. That's what we call it in America. In fact, they consume 55% more mac and cheese, craft dinner, than the United States. Of all the facts on this entire list, that is the one that shocks me the most. That is the one that I'm questioning the most. Canadians eat 55% more mac and cheese than Americans? Really? I've never been more skeptical. 28. British Columbia has enormous forests. British Columbia has 60 million hectares, or 149 million acres, of lush forest land. I know British Columbia, wow. British Columbia is very nature-y, but that's a lot of forest. I think British Columbia is bigger than I think. I always think as provinces, as a state, but it's like 5 states put together, right? 29. Canada is the polar bear capital. Churchill in Manitoba is famous for the polar bear capital of the world, and it has a population of pale, furry polar bears. In Churchill, Manitoba? Is that safe? There's a city where there's a population of polar bears? That's really cool and kind of scary. And 30, the Trans Canada Highway is a record breaker. This highway is an impressive road with a length of 7,800 kilometers. I don't know what that means. It's 4,800 miles. Ah, there we go. It connects Victoria and British Columbia. It's a record breaker. Is it the longest highway ever in the world? I mean, I think that's what it's saying. Really? I've heard of this road. I didn't know it was the record-breaking longest road on the planet. Is that what it's saying? That's pretty darn cool. That's an achievement. And anyway, there we have it. We did it. We made it through 30 Canadian facts, some of which I kind of knew, but most of which I didn't really know. Maybe that should have been the title. But anyway, I learned a lot about Canada here. It's always a lot of fun learning just random stuff about Canada. This is where you just learn stuff that you're not going to get taught anywhere else, just like the most random stuff, like the magnetic hill, okay? And for that reason, I actually thought this was a lot of fun. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these Canadian facts or any other cool Canadian facts you think should have been on this list. That'd be fun to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and learning about Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.